What's up, cool people? My name's Matt, aka That Random Christian Gamer, and as at least part of a follow-up to a video I made a little while ago about politics and the election and things like that, I thought I would try to chime in on at least an issue in this video, possibly more to follow, and just try to provide a calm, level-headed perspective, and B, as much as I reasonably can, a, Christian viewpoint on the issue in question. This particular time, I am going to focus on immigration. It's a pretty hot topic in the US right now, as far as how to handle it, what is or is not being done, and different things like that. Before I get too far into this, I want to try and be as clear as possible what exactly illegal immigration is. So, according to Wikipedia at least, illegal immigration, quote, is the migration of people into a country in violation of that country's immigration laws, or the continuous residence in a country without the legal right. One thing to point out from that is that illegal immigration isn't just people crossing the southern border. There is a lot more to it than that. There's also people who come over here and, whether it's through a student visa or a work visa or different things like that, they come over here and once their visas expire, they then just try to stay here anyway, even though they do not have any kind of visa or any sort of legal citizenship. There are processes for people to become legal citizens either while they're on a visa or after the fact, but especially if they make no attempt to follow the legal process in that regard, that is illegal immigration. When it comes to crossing the border, the only thing that makes a border crossing illegal is kind of similar to the previous situation that I described. People trying to skirt the law. People who cross the border and make no attempt at gaining citizenship or applying for asylum or anything like that. There's no attempt to get themselves into a legal situation that allows them to rightfully be in the country. That, by definition, is illegal immigration. People simply crossing the border doesn't necessarily equal illegal immigration if they're doing it through the right channels. People coming in from another country by other means, it's not necessarily illegal immigration if they're following the proper channels. So, Haitian migrants coming on a work visa or, something like that. I'm not 100% sure what that situation was in Springfield, Ohio. But Haitian immigrants coming over here to work isn't inherently illegal immigration. Forget the idea of what they are or are not doing. They're not necessarily here illegally just because they're from another country and they aren't fully citizens yet. In fact, the boarding school job that I used to work at had plenty of international students with either extended family members or even close family members, some sort of connection here in the States sometimes. And it was somewhat common for the family of those students who live in the country, in the US, to be undergoing the legal process to become full citizens. It takes years Literally, in like the most basic scenario, it takes years for someone to enter the country and then become a legal citizen of the United States. So, now that I've made my attempt to clarify what is and is not illegal immigration, let me try and bring in a bit of a Christian perspective on this. I, for sure, lean more towards the idea of being hospitable and welcoming and treating immigrants like they're human beings. Treating them decently like we would anyone else. I mean, this verse here, I know it's not necessarily meant specifically for immigrants, but in really a lot of situations, this is a general rule of thumb for Christians to follow. 1 Peter 4:8. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Like, that's the general summary of how most of our approach should be to most things as Christians. There are other specific references within the Bible that even say to treat the foreigner among you with respect, with decency. Treat them similar to how you would a native-born citizen. Even in the Old Testament, there are things like that. So, I absolutely cannot understand Christians getting just hostile toward immigrants, illegal or not. Just having an absolute inherent bias toward immigrants, really against, I should say, against immigrants, is just, I don't think it's a Christian view to have at all on the issue. Now, does that mean I think our borders should be completely open and anybody should be able to come in however they want? No. We want to make sure that we're, not having people get smuggled through our borders, or drugs get smuggled through our borders, or different things like that are also inherently, for entirely different reasons, illegal. We definitely need to, check that and try our best to make sure that's not happening. When it comes to illegal immigration otherwise, especially at the southern border, my view is that we should be putting our best effort into expediting and putting more resources into the legal process for people to become U.S. citizens. The attitude of just trying to push immigrants away should not be our approach as Christians. One of the big reasons why people try to cross the border illegally is the slowness of our legal process and the backlog that has created with people trying to enter legally. It leaves people with the decision to say, okay, are these circumstances that I'm trying to get away from, like, is that bad enough for me to risk crossing illegally and hoping for the best? Or do I think I will be okay enough, safe enough, in a livable enough situation for long enough to go through the legal process? And, like, if we put more resources into bringing people in here legally, into expediting that process, I'm not saying it should take less time of them living in the country for them to become citizens, but I am saying, giving them, like, green card status or figuring out some sort of visa for them or something like that, expediting that so that at least they can get their feet in the door, giving people an easier ability to enter the country through legal means would automatically cut down on illegal immigration, because more of the immigration would just be legal then, period. Unless then that causes a surge on the back end of, people coming here, getting a visa or something like that, and then letting it expire and just trying to stay here, of, that kind of situation. Just from a Christian perspective, don't be hateful, and let's try our best to, welcome people. Let's assume they're innocent until proven guilty. And then, if it turns out that they're here for nefarious purposes, then, let's follow the legal process for that. But don't just assume outright that the vast majority of people coming into the country, especially through the southern border, are here to do something bad. It's quite common for people to try and flee bad circumstances to try and give themselves a better situation. So the fact that these people might be poor, or that, they're accustomed to a certain way of living that isn't the same as what we might believe to be the standard within our country, doesn't mean that we should push them away. Yeah, it's kind of on them to acclimate, but let's not, try and shove that acclimation upon them quicker than is reasonable, and assume that just because they don't acclimate as quickly as we would like, that means that they have bad intentions. Okay, anyway, I think otherwise I'm just going to be rambling on tangents or talking in circles. So, that's the main heart of what I have to say about immigration and how I think Christians should approach the topic. So, yeah, as always, like and share if you enjoyed the video and want others to see it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos from me. Let me know down in the comments if you want more videos like this, covering other topics, other thoughts related to this topic. Let's try and be civil about it, but don't hold back your thoughts. I would like to actually have some discussion around this. I'm giving my perspective as, an attempt to get a civil conversation rolling on this. And if you want other ways to keep up with what I'm doing, look down in the description for links to social media pages. And there's a link to my Discord server where we can talk about stuff between videos. There's a link to a supporter page if you like what I'm doing and want to help me out financially. You can sign up for a membership, which will give you some benefits in exchange for that financial support to show you how much I appreciate it. But yeah, that's all I've got. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you soon for another video. Whatever the case is, till next time, stay cool, people.